Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the incredibly fun and fascinating world of puppetry. If you've ever wanted to literally bring a story to life right in front of an audience, well, you're exactly where you need to be. We're going to walk through the ultimate student's blueprint for creating a puppet project from absolute scratch, using everyday objects and just a whole lot of imagination.
Here's our roadmap from inspiration to action. We'll start with the magic of storytelling. Then look at puppets with a purpose. After that, we're mapping your story, writing the script, hitting the puppet workshop, and finally, preparing for showtime. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The Magic of Storytelling and its Ancient Roots.
So, before you start building your project, you might actually be wondering, just how far back does this art form go? Seriously, what do a 4,000-year-old toy and your modern classroom have in common? It feels like a massive jump in time, right? Well, the answer is right here in this amazing artifact. This was excavated between 2012 and 2014 at a Sindhu-Saraswati civilization site in Rajasthan. It's literally an Indus Valley puppet-headed bull. Now, the head is missing today, but archaeologists figured out it was designed to be detachable, complete with these two shallow grooves for a string. So the whole concept of puppetry, using mechanics to bring a figure to life, has literally been fascinating us for millennia.
Okay, so what exactly separates a puppet from, say, just any other object or toy? By definition, a puppet is a human or animal figure that must be moved by a puppeteer to narrate a story. Meaning a wind-up clockwork doll that just moves on its own, not a puppet. But a totally plain sock with a couple of buttons for eyes that you slip on your hand and make speak? Absolutely a puppet. The real magic requires a creator, which is you, to pull the strings.
And you know, puppetry doesn't just exist in a vacuum. It's a huge part of India's massive oral storytelling tradition. We're talking about pool songs in Bangla, the incredible Urdu storytelling of Dastan Goi, Kavad in Rajasthan, which, by the way, uses this amazing wooden shrine that opens up as the story unfolds, and Yakshagana in Kerala and Karnataka, which brings in music, masks, and costumes. Puppetry is just another incredibly vibrant branch on this giant storytelling tree.
Moving on to Section 2, Puppets with a Purpose and Their Powerful Messages.
There is this profound psychological advantage to using puppets. Think about it. Since the puppet, and not the human, is speaking, the audience is way more likely to listen and even laugh about things that would otherwise make them angry or upset. It creates this safe distance. Because of that, puppets have historically been used to tackle really heavy stuff: addiction, superstition, social ills, basically motivating people to stand up against injustice. So while your student project can be purely for fun, it can also be a real, powerful vehicle for change.
Which brings us to Section 3, Mapping Your Story, where the brainstorming begins. Okay, you can't just jump on stage without a plan, right? Using this awesome framework, you can easily map out a short, simple story. Now, as a student, try to aim for just 2 or 3 characters so things don't get too crazy. Just work through this list step by step. What's the title and topic? Who are the characters, and what are their traits? Where is the setting? What's the plot and sequence of events? And most importantly, what is the central message you want to leave your audience with? Fill this out, and boom, you've got the skeleton of your show.
Next up is Section 4, Writing the Script, which is essentially your instruction manual. So, a really common mistake is thinking a script is just the words your characters say. Nope. In reality, your script is the master instruction manual for the entire performance. Yes, you need the dialogue and the emotions for sure, but you also need to write down the step-by-step flow of the scenes. You've got to map out exactly where the puppets are positioned and how they move, plan out any light and sound effects, and even note the specific style of speaking for each character. It's the whole shebang. Also, there is a super important ethical side to script writing that the source material points out. You have a real responsibility to your audience. Always be sensitive to other sentiments and make sure your story is spreading a positive message. And hey, if you're drawing inspiration from real-life situations or real people for your project, you absolutely must ask for their permission first. Truly great storytelling is always grounded in respect.
All right, let's get our hands dirty. Section 5, The Puppet Workshop, Crafting Your Characters.
The everyday magic of puppetry is that you absolutely do not need a big budget to create something incredible. Literally anything can become the hero of your story. You can use twigs, dried leaves, husks, or clay. Grab some old slippers or shoes, paint the soles, slap on some buttons for eyes, maybe some wool for hair. You can even take disposable wooden spoons, wrap them in cloth, and paint on a face. Even a piece of discarded cardboard cut out and attached to a broomstick can turn into something wonderful.
Now, if you want to build a more traditional human puppet, this simple 4-step blueprint is a game changer. Step 1. Take some old scrap fabric and cut it into the shape of a long dress. Make sure it's long enough to hide the stick attached to the puppet's head. Step 2. Stitch it up securely with a needle and thread. Step 3. If you want to get fancy, craft a little shirt or skirt to go over that base dress. And finally, Step 4. Just draw and cut some hands out of cardboard and attach them right to the sleeves. And there you go. You've got a custom, flexible body for your character.
And finally, Section 6, preparing for showtime, bringing it all together.
This right here is the culmination of all your hard work. When you prepare for showtime, it's all about synergy. You set up your stage arrangement, you start bringing in props made from cardboard or aluminum foil, and hang up those colorful backdrops. Cue up your lighting and sound effects, but crucially, this is when you really need to practice your voice modulation, because the way you move and speak is what's actually going to captivate your audience. So we've given you the historical inspiration, tracing this incredible art form all the way back to the Indus Valley, and we've walked through the step-by-step blueprint for planning, scripting, and crafting your very own project. The framework is in your hands, and now it's entirely up to you. The stage is set, the materials are ready, so I leave you with this one final exciting question. What story will your puppets tell? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy storytelling.